That Friday night, I decided to surprise my wife, Emma. She had told me earlier that she was going out with her friends to celebrate a coworker's birthday at a downtown club. Normally, I trusted her, but something about the way she avoided eye contact and got defensive when I asked which club made my gut twist. Still, I didn't want to seem controlling, so I stayed quiet. But as the night went on, that uneasy feeling grew stronger. Around 10:30 p.m., I texted her just to check in. "Having fun?" I wrote. No reply. Half an hour passed. Then another. I called once. No answer. I told myself maybe it was too loud, but the worry in my chest wouldn't calm down. Finally, I decided to drive over to the club she had mentioned once before, Eclipse Lounge. Something inside told me I would find what I was afraid of. When I arrived, the line outside was long, but I slipped past the crowd and told the bouncer I was just checking on my wife. Inside, the lights were low, the music pounding. I scanned the dance floor, my heart racing like a drum. Then I saw her. Emma, my wife of 7 years, wearing a dress I had never seen before, standing close to a man I didn't recognize. At first, I thought maybe it was a coworker. I told myself there could be an explanation. But then she put her hand on his chest, laughing in a way I hadn't seen in months. He leaned in, and before I could blink, they kissed, right there, in front of everyone. My world went silent. The music faded. It felt like the ground had vanished beneath my feet. I didn't make a scene. I just stood there, frozen, watching the woman I loved betray me so easily. When I finally turned around, I walked straight out of the club. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the steering wheel, replaying what I had seen over and over again. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel angry yet, just empty. When she came home around 2 a.m., she acted as if nothing had happened. "Hey," she said, kicking off her heels. "You're still up." I looked at her, my heart pounding. "Yeah," I replied quietly. "How was the party?" She smiled, not realizing I already knew. "It was great," she said. "Just danced, you know." I nodded slowly. Then I pulled out my phone and showed her the photo I took, her with that man, mid-kiss, at the club. Her face turned pale instantly. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. "Don't," I said firmly. "Don't lie to me again." She sat down, trembling, and tried to explain that it was just a mistake, that she had too much to drink, that it didn't mean anything. But the damage was already done. I had loved her deeply, trusted her fully, and in return, she gave her loyalty to a stranger. "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer, just stared at the floor. That silence told me everything I needed to know. The next morning, I packed a bag and left for a few days to stay with my brother. She texted constantly, begging me to come home, saying she'd do anything to fix it. But every time I read her messages, I could only picture that moment at the club, the one that shattered everything. A week later, I returned home, not because I forgave her, but because I needed closure. We sat down, and I told her calmly that I was filing for divorce. She cried, saying she had made a terrible mistake, that she still loved me. But love, I told her, isn't proven by words, it's proven by actions. As I left her sitting on the couch, tears streaming down her face, I felt a strange sense of peace. Not happiness, but acceptance. I realized that sometimes people break the very thing that made them whole, and no amount of apology can rebuild the same trust. Months passed. I focused on rebuilding my life, spending time with family and rediscovering old hobbies. Every now and then, I'd think about that night at the club, the flashing lights, the laughter, the betrayal, but it hurt less each time. Eventually, I understood that losing her wasn't the end of my story, it was the start of a new one. The night I found her with another man broke me, but it also freed me from a love that had already died in her heart long before I saw it with my eyes. And though it took time, I finally learned that peace isn't found in revenge, it's found in letting go.